everybody. I hope everybody is having a great morning. Welcome back to our channel, everybody. Red Bull. Oh, it's echoing. Great morning. Welcome back to our channel. I am sorry about that, but welcome back to our channel, Red Bull Coffee and Crime. Today I am doing Lauren's story a little bit early. We have a lot of things going on. John Knight from Erie Predator Catchers. I am going to go live with him on his Facebook later. So I decided to do this a little early. Hey, Arctic. Good morning. You're up early. So I'm just going to go over this case. It's very, very sickening. So sad. This poor child and what she went through after it all. It's heartbreaking. Lauren Kavanaugh was 3 years old when her abuse began. She was confined to live in a dark, lice infested, and urine stained closet and was referred to as a quote, little secret by her quote, mother, Barbara Atkinson, and her stepfather, Kenneth Atkinson. The closet was 4 foot by 9 foot, and Lauren would only be allowed to come out of the closet when the sadistic couple wanted to abuse her. This is another case where it's a step parent involved, and these mothers that bring these freaking scum into their life and allow them to abuse their children. It just makes me, it is so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. And it happens all the time. It's always like a step parent involved in a lot of the cases. But Lauren, she was denied food, she was physically beaten, she was sexually abused by both her mother and her stepfather. Um, and it all happened over the course of 5 years. She was beaten with a paddle as well as blunt and sharp objects. She was burned with cigarettes. Um, as she laid in the darkness, she could hear her 6 siblings laughing and playing outside. Just imagine you being a child that's being abused and you have siblings, and like I wonder what her thoughts were. Like, why am I not loved? Why am I the only one that's going through this? And I can't. When the other members of the family would go out of town on trips, Lauren would be locked in the closet. They used to go on vacations. They would take little trips, and they would bring Lauren home. Bring Lauren. Um, I mean, keep her in this locked closet. So as Lauren sat in the dark closet, she often glared at the silver of light coming in through the gap at the bottom of the door. In fact, if she stared at it long enough, her mind would open a portal to another place. And this is according to Lauren. This was her escape hatch. But experts say it was a disassociation. So, she was trying to get herself into a better place. She wanted to just imagine being somewhere else. And oh God, it's so heartbreaking. Um, the abuse was uncovered when Kenneth, the stepdad, told a neighbor, Jeannie Rivers, about Lauren while Barbara was away from the home. Jeannie went inside her own home and told her husband, Joe, who called police. It just got to a point where he couldn't take it anymore. It's unbelievable. She had no idea what was going on, recollected Jeannie. When officers arrived at the home, Lauren was eating spaghetti. She was eating as masked as she could, recollect, uh, recollected Hutchins police officer Gary McLean. While Lauren was 8 years old at this point, she looked like a toddler. Guys, an 8 year old, she weighed 25 pounds. 25 pounds. I want to show you some more pictures. Disgusting. This is where they kept her. This was her room. This was her dungeon. and an 8-year old for 5 years of her life lived in this hellhole. I can't. I can't even imagine. I mean, look at that. Hey, Barbara. Um, it's sticking to my stomach. Um, this is her now. We'll go over that later, but yeah. And this was her. Um, that's 8 years old, you guys. 25 pounds at 8 years old. Um, so she was also filthy. Her hair was matted, and it was infested with lice. One officer said, when I looked in her eyes, it looked like she'd been in a dungeon for days and days. He thought to himself, my God, how can anyone do that? Lauren was taken to Children's Medical Center of Dallas, where she was treated for malnutrition. According to the medical staff, her skin was peeling off her back, and her buttocks and her teeth were broken, and her stomach was bloated. In fact, she so malnourished that her organs were shutting down, and it was estimated that she very likely could not have survived much longer. Look at that, you guys. And we look at Levi, um, and this is how he looked when and he was malnourished. It's definitely horrible. She is very lucky to be alive. Oh God, I can't. I mean, I want to show you the actual picture of her in the hospital. Um, okay, so that's her. Oop, that's her when she was in the hospital. 8 years old. I can't. So she was so malnourished that her organs were shutting down. It was estimated that yeah, she might have not survived much longer. Her esophagus was clogged with feces, carpet fibers, and plastic, and she did not know how to sit in a chair, write with a pencil, or even recite her ABCs. She had not been potty trained and did not recognize the sun or basic objects. Oh, God. Um, Barbara and Kenneth were both arrested and charged with injury to a child. The other children who were living in the home, they ranged in age between 22 months and 11 years old, were placed into emergency foster care. Now, let me get that right. So they were arrested and charged with injury to a child. Wouldn't that be something way more major? I mean, attempted murder, something. Um, None of the children had been abused. So the other kids were treated right. They weren't abused. She was the only one. And the home where they were at, it was filled with dirty clothes, trash, animal feces, and it had been revealed that the parents actually told their siblings to lie about the existence of Lauren. Like, oh my gosh, and putting other children involved in this, like that, oh, that's trauma for them as well. Like, they're young and they don't know any better. It's heartbreaking. An investigation um, uncovered that CPS has investigated allegations of abuse twice before in this home, but the family moved before they could question them. So this is another CPS failure, and this is another, oh, let me just move away and it will, you know, all go away. Yeah, attempted murder. And CPS, another fucking failure. Um, I can't. Um, so CPS, they couldn't get a hold of him. I guess they just closed it off. Um, Shortly after Lauren's birth, she had been fostered, but then they placed her back in the mother's care, despite the concerns that Barbara could not take care of Lauren properly. Um, so, oh God, Barbara and Kenneth were sentenced to life imprisonment in 2002. They're eligible for parole in 2031. After all of this, Lauren was adopted by Lauren, Sabrina, and Bill Kavanaugh, who showered her with love and affection. As Laura grew up, she spoke about her upbringing. She recalled how when her mother first put her in the closet, she thought it was just punishment for crying, but it became her permanent home. She recollected how they put on country music to hide her screams as they abused and raped her. I couldn't do anything in the darkness. I slept in there and had to use it for the bathroom. The carpet was drenched in urine and I lay under a thin, wet blanket, Lauren said. Children who are abused during the first 3 years of life often face irreversible cognitive damage. And this is what we're going over in the case of Nico. He was going through all of that in the first 3 years of his life. I mean, since he was born. So, and this child, we'll go on to it in a minute. She ended up getting charged. Um, I'll go over it in a minute. Far too often, these children are never going to be functional or as bright as they could have been due to the fact that they were neglected and abused during their most formative years. Lauren's road back from the trauma she endured was long and bumpy. She went through years of psychotherapy and doctor visits and diagnosis. Shortly after Lauren was rescued, um, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention suggested that she faced a bleak future, marred by antisocial behavior, crime, drug, alcohol abuse, disease, and early death. For a while, it looked as though Lauren had truly overcome her trauma and would lead a regular life. Lauren went on to study psychology at college, um, and is a staunch supporter of other victims for sexual abuse. But in December of 2018, Lauren, who was 25 years at the time, was arrested and charged with sexually abusing a minor. Lauren had met her 14-year-old victim on Lauren's Facebook page, where she had been offering support for other victims of abuse. During an interview with police, Lauren admitted she had a sexual relationship with an underage girl. So, I mean, you know, um, a criminal defense attorney brought up trauma affects the growing, developing brain of the child. So the brain grows according to experiences. When children have a steady diet of harm and danger, we're going to anticipate a much more dire outcome. He suggested that counseling was more appropriate as opposed to a prison sentence. Is she a predator? Hell no. Is she someone who is going to be able to better communicate with a 14-year-old than an adult? Hell yes, he said. In March of 2019, Lauren was indicted on 3 counts of sexual assault of a child. She is currently behind bars at the Denton County Jail and faces up to 20 years in prison if for each charge if she is convicted. You guys, this is what I mean. Okay, so knowing that she got abused all those years, those were, I think, Sixth Sense was here. Um, and she said that just like this, psychologist said, your younger years are, um, that's when your brain's developing. So whatever, I mean, and everybody works differently. She was in psychology, I mean, going to a psychologist, she was doing different things to help her, but that mindset that she had, she just thought it was okay. She, it didn't help her. Um, and my heart breaks in this story. I mean, I just, and it just reminds me of so much of other cases where these people, they go through so much trauma and they grow up to be a horrible person as well. But we have to look at how old they were and what they went through. Um, this poor child, 8 years old, weighing 25 pounds, being raped, being abused every single day while her siblings were just allowed to run around and you know what? Screw CPS. This is another CPS failure. I'm so disgusted at our system. Um, Unfortunately, I don't know if there will ever be a change. Sorry, you guys. Um, yeah, I would give her a pass too, but do you think it's okay for what she did when she grew up and abuse another child? It's just really sad. I don't believe she deserves jail time. I believe that she does need to be hospitalized. Um, that room, let's just look at it again. I mean, just imagine being stuck in this room. And CPS did nothing about it. Nothing. They did nothing about it. They just ignored it. They didn't want to deal with it. So that is the story of Lauren Kavanaugh. She went through a lot in her life. Um, I really hope that she gets the help she needs to fully heal from everything she went through. I don't know if she will ever be able to heal, but she does need the help. This case is very sad. There is a lot more to it, but that sums it all up. I mean, oh, my heart breaks. Um, you guys, we do have a show coming up involving aliens, which we wanted to do for a long time. John Knight from Erie Predator Catchers is going to join us, and we're just going to kind of talk. And so, if anyone wants to come and join, you are welcome. Arctic, I didn't send you this link because it is early and I'm just getting this out of the way. So, because I have his live to do on his channel, and then I have, well, his Facebook, and then we're going to go over here. So I'm just trying to get this one out the way. But I really, really, this story breaks my heart. So I wanted to tell it. Um, and we need to figure out a way to see what we can do, maybe, like to get her into a mental health facility. I believe she needs to be hospitalized. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they never do. They never ever do. And we always talk about doing a nationwide protest. And, I really want to do the idea, but you know how hard it is to get people to get on board. It's something that we really need to start working on, Arctic. We need to come up with a game plan. We need to come up with like a post that we could share everywhere and like months ahead so people know the exact date and they can request off work. We need to do something. It might not help, but CPS needs to know we are tired of this shit and it's fucking bullshit that these fucking officers are not, or caseworkers are not being held accountable for anything. Um, so I definitely think that we should get on that. We can talk about it later. But thank you guys for coming, Arctic. I will send you the link to the one that's in a little bit, if you want to join. Barbara, thank you as always for showing support. And the alien one story, we are going to be talking about other stuff as well. So it's kind of just a chill, whatever. But I am going to tell this guy's story because, oh my gosh, it is insane. And yeah, please go watch the live on Facebook under John Knight's profile. You can find his profile under Eerie Predator Catchers and just look up John Knight. He's in there. I don't know what time the live's going to be, but we are going to be talking about all these cases. Arctic, I hope that you could go over there and watch so we can add you onto the stream. Um, yeah, everybody have a great day. Thank you guys so much for the support. Please keep sharing our videos. I just put a new age progression video out for Kyron Horman. If you could go give that one a like, um, that would be awesome. And just share our videos. You guys, please, 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 if you see something, say something. There is no way nobody knew what was going on in this house. And if somebody would have just said something, she could have been saved a lot sooner. But everybody have a blessed and amazing day, and I will see you guys later. Bye. All right, Barbara. Hey, good morning, Bob. You missed it. I was just getting off. Um, I hope you're coming on to my alien show I have coming up. It should be very interesting. We have some guests coming on the panel, but would love to see you there. I don't know your opinions if you believe in all of that, but thank you for showing up. If you want to replay, I would. This story is horrible, disgusting. This poor child, what she had to go through. Um, but yeah, I hope to see you guys later.